gonna lie, it's like, I'ma spit some real shit for y'all right now. It's like, look, like when you grew up in the trenches, it's like society treats you different, man. Like, look at you different. It's like, man, you know, when you coming from where we from, man, we were on the come.
When we first moved to Inglewood, it was just a really nice place. You have to keep in mind, during that time, there were no gangs. There weren't any gangs. Well, these two guys showed up in our neighborhoods, Huey and Tank. I was about 13, 14. We were just coming out of, going through puberty. We just thought they were somebody that just showed up in our neighborhood and they wanted to be our friend, and we kind of looked up to them. They didn't bring it to Inglewood. We created it in Inglewood. But it started getting serious when at my 16th birthday party, and they shot Douglas Green. That's when it affected us psychologically. It traumatized us. That's when we formed the family.
I hope I make it out alive, I ain't the same from it. I grew up in the ghetto, I ain't ashamed of it. And I struggled on different levels, I got my pain from it. Niggas,
we were all going to Monroe. So we started hanging out with Eddie. My brother Billy started going with Calandria, Jan's sister. Well, Jan and Calandria were connected to the Youngs. So Calandria and Gail used to hang out. We started hanging out with the kid Ursula Sandifer and her family, and Greg Goff. And I forgot about Randy Scarborough on our side. Oh, Chris Roberts and his family. Colonel Jackson, because Colonel was Joyce's cousin. Joyce and I were best friends from 9 years old. And Mickey was the older brother, and he hung out with my brother Wallace. Then Eric Jackson, Mickey's little brother, maybe Pepper, Davion's brother. And Pepper was a kid, so we used to run him home. No, Pepper, you gone. And, we tried to keep him out of it. I was the youngest. And so from what I understand, the family took off like wildfire. The original family came from the original chain gang. And I know there's people out there that say they were involved in the chain gang, and at that time it didn't come across Manchester. It was just kids that went to Daniel Freeman. You weren't directly involved in the two major families, which were both Jackson families. Stella, who was the part of the other Jackson family at 8208, she started going with Ollie, which he lived like a couple blocks on the other side. And then I started going with the guy, Mark. He lived across Van Ness. They lived in LA. And that's how we started getting up close and personal. Ollie had another girlfriend, and as a result of that, Stella ended up fighting the girls, Ollie, whoever Ollie was involved with, or ex or something. We didn't pull out guns. If we got our ass whooped, we got our ass whooped. If we whooped some ass, we whooped ass. But Joyce was more so, a fighter. I was like more into guys and stuff like that, but I held my own. Now there was Mickey and Wallace, and they were our neighborhood badasses. When we did start evolving into gangs, when he fought, him and Wallace, they would fight 5 and 6 guys at one time. Could fight like Mickey or Wallace, then you was a badass. Now Tasha and Sheila, Joyce's little sisters, they may have carried on. I know for sure Eric Jackson did. They called him AJ. So I'm sure they carried on, but once again, when it got serious and they started pulling out the guns, we went a whole nother direction. It takes absolutely no effort, that is not being bad, to shoot someone and, shoot them down like an animal. I mean, how is that being bad? Once we started having kids and the family caught on, I understand it changed dramatically. I understand that Big Mike became one of the head leaders of the family. I'm not familiar with them. I'm gonna say it again, that it was the two Jackson families, 8305 and 8208 2nd Avenue. Everybody else who came in after the fact. Tanya Ware, Regina Garrett, Joyce, Stella, and me. 5 of us. And we were the only women or girls at that, or young women at that time, that got out in the middle of the street and we fought. Remember, the Crips came and they tissued Morningside High. You remember that? They put graffiti and tissue all up on Morningside High. That was the first time where we ever saw them as a gang. They tried to jump on Ollie and we jumped in, and so that's how they knew we would fight guys too. Wesley was already on our side. We didn't have this mentality of boundaries and neighborhoods. We just went to everything that was local.
I knew Stanley, I knew Tookie, I knew Warlock, all them. I used to, meet them at the skating rink. When we came in, the older ones, that's when the guns start coming out. We start carrying guns and whatnot. So, we had to do what we had to do to protect our sisters and cousins. And like she said, it wasn't all about guns from the beginning. It was all about one-on-one and whatnot. We had a shootout at the 5th Avenue show. Okay, that didn't sit well with a lot of us. Then we had a fight at Hawaiian Billiards. They came from St. Andrews Park. All we were trying to do was just protect, what was up in Inglewood.
Now, from what I understand, it's like 20, 30 different families in Inglewood. Which loses the whole idea of it. Being united, being like family.
When they came over at that time, I had moved away. I had got married and stayed in LA. And then when I go back to live in Inglewood, what they call themselves, IVC. My sisters and brothers would come get me, because, I was still part of that. My friends, we'd go see what was wrong. That's a lot of this stuff I didn't forgot, but it brings back memories, what she's saying. We were sitting in the kitchen when they shot through the window on 83rd Street. My mother's sitting here and I'm sitting there, and they shot through the kitchen window. Then they shot my brother's Carl Wallace. They called him Wooler, shot his car up.
Beating on our doors and breaking out our windows. And yet, all these people, like I'm saying Caesar and Chris Roberts' little brother, they all want to sit and share their story. And their house didn't get shot up. My house was subject. My house got shot up 2 and 3 times. My house got bum rushed. Had Caesar not every day, Wesley, Eric Cotton, Waverly Cotton, Al Newman, Leonard Alexander, Leonard's brother, Calvin, Richard Jackson, we called him Magoo, Ronald Starling. They all hung out at my house. I had a love-hate relationship with them, and it took me a long time to get through that, because every single day I would tell them, stop hanging out in my house. Stop hanging out at my house. I brought that up with Eddie Nasty Ed, and he said, but that was a hot spot. Well, yeah, so how many times did I ask you not to come over here, though? It wouldn't be a hot spot. Every day they showed up at my house. They sat outside on the wall of my house so long until the wall started curving like that. Caesar, I confronted him about that. He said, but we were just kids. But Eddie, Al, the Cottons, the Jacksons, Alexanders, they all hung out at my house. They used to steal cars, take them in the garage, strip them, and all this kind of stuff. They didn't go through. Half is what I personally went through. If there's anybody that's gonna tell that story, it should be me. That was during the time when the Black Panther Party was very prevalent in this country. That was intentionally put in the black community to do exactly what it did. We didn't intend for this to turn out to be a gang that would start killing each other and all this kind of stuff. They probably had somebody in their neighborhoods encouraging them to do what they were doing. As a matter of fact, when I talked to Ali, I think he had mentioned something like that they too were influenced They were influenced to ride out against us, just like we were influenced to retaliate against them. Of course, we wouldn't know what motivated them.
100 rounds, 100 shots. Aim it at your block and twisties on your head and make it rock and do the bumper clock. That's word to Allah, me father. If the drama fold, I swear they need to free my cousin Low. Boy, ain't never told, but I can't say the same for you niggas. Niggas really hoes, be running the same marathon for years. Niggas really slow, ain't really got that money like you saying. Niggas really broke, you niggas all in y'all feelings, y'all be hating. Niggas really fold, but I can't say the same for you niggas. Niggas really hoes, be running the same marathon for years. Niggas really slow, ain't really got that money like you saying. Niggas really broke, you niggas all in y'all feelings, y'all be hating. Niggas really fold. I grew up in the ghetto, I ain't ashamed of it. And I struggled on different levels, I got my pain from it. Niggas a die tryna live this life, tryna build a name from it. I hope I make it out alive, I ain't the same from it. I grew up in the